Wow, did you know the New Zealand you see on the map is just the tip of a massive sunken continent? That's right, what we call New Zealand is actually the highest mountain range of a hidden landmass called Zealandia. So, are you living on an island nation or a nearly submerged continent? Let me know what you think in the comments. For centuries, we've admired New Zealand for its stunning landscapes, from the rolling hills of the Shire in The Lord of the Rings to its dramatic fjords and pristine beaches. But the story of this land is far more epic than any movie. It's a tale of continental breakup, volcanic fury, and a land that literally rose from the waves. To really understand New Zealand, we need to rewind the clock way back, about 85 million years ago. Back then, the world looked very different. The supercontinent Gondwana, a colossal landmass that included modern-day Australia, Antarctica, and South America, was starting to break apart. A chunk of this continental crust, about half the size of Australia, began to drift away into the Pacific Ocean. This was the birth of Zealandia. For millions of years, this new continent drifted, a solitary landmass in the vast ocean. But Zealandia's journey wasn't a peaceful one. As it moved, powerful geological forces began to stretch and thin its crust, like pulling a piece of dough. This stretching made it sink. Over tens of millions of years, the vast majority of Zealandia, about 94% of it, slowly submerged beneath the waves. The ocean claimed the continent, leaving only the highest points, the peaks of its mountain ranges, sticking out of the water. Those peaks are what we know today as New Zealand and New Caledonia. So the beautiful islands of New Zealand are not just islands. They are the visible remnants of a lost world. When you're hiking in the Southern Alps, you're essentially walking along the spine of a sunken continent. This fact alone completely changes how you see the country. It's not just a place of sheep and kiwis, it's a geological wonderland. Now, let's fast forward to more recent geological history because the drama was far from over. New Zealand sits right on the Ring of Fire, a hotspot of seismic and volcanic activity that circles the Pacific Ocean. It is located on the boundary of two tectonic plates, the Pacific Plate and the Australian Plate, and these two plates are not friends. They are constantly grinding against each other, pushing, pulling, and sliding. This tectonic wrestling match is the architect of modern New Zealand. In the North Island, the Pacific Plate is diving, or subducting, beneath the Australian Plate. This process melts rock deep within the earth, creating magma that rises to the surface. The result? The explosive volcanoes of the topo-volcanic zone, including Mount Ruapehu and the massive caldera that now holds Lake Taupo, which was formed by one of the largest volcanic eruptions in human history. This constant volcanic activity is what gives the North Island its characteristic geothermal wonders, like the geysers of Rotorua and its bubbling mud pools. Meanwhile, in the South Island, the story is different. Here, the plates are colliding and sliding past each other, creating what's called a transform fault. This immense pressure has pushed the land upwards, creating the magnificent Southern Alps. This mountain range, which includes Aoraki or Mount Cook, is still rising today, growing a few millimeters every year. This is also why the South Island is prone to powerful earthquakes as the plates release their built-up tension. The landscape is literally alive, constantly being reshaped by these immense forces. What do you find more fascinating, the volcanic North Island or the mountainous South Island? Tell me your pick down below. The creation of the land is only half the story. What about the life that came to inhabit it? Because Zealandia broke away from Gondwana before mammals really took over, New Zealand became a land of birds. With no ground-based predators, birds evolved to fill every ecological niche. Some, like the famous kiwi, became nocturnal and flightless, foraging on the forest floor. Others, like the giant moa, an extinct bird that stood up to 12 feet tall, became the dominant large herbivores, like deer or cattle in other parts of the world. The skies were ruled by giants too, like the Haast's eagle, the largest eagle ever known, which hunted the moa. It was a unique and fragile ecosystem, a bird paradise that existed in isolation for millions of years. This all changed dramatically about 800 years ago with the arrival of the first humans, the Mbori. They arrived in their magnificent canoes waka after incredible voyages across the Pacific. They were master navigators who brought with them a rich culture and a deep connection to the land, which they named Aotearoa, the land of the long white cloud. However, the arrival of humans and later Europeans marked the end of New Zealand's long isolation. The introduction of predators like rats and stoats, and large-scale changes to the landscape, had a devastating impact on the native wildlife. The moa and the Haast's eagle disappeared, and many other species, including the kawi and the kakapo, were pushed to the brink of extinction. It's a stark reminder of how fragile isolated ecosystems can be. Today, New Zealand is a world leader in conservation, fighting to protect its unique natural heritage. Sanctuaries have been created, and intensive predator control programs are underway to give native species a fighting chance. It's an ongoing battle to restore the balance that was lost. So what does the future hold for Aotearoa, New Zealand, this peak of the lost continent of Zealandia? Geologically, the country will continue to be a place of change. The volcanoes will erupt, the mountains will continue to rise, and earthquakes will keep reshaping the land. Scientists are constantly monitoring this activity to understand the risks and help prepare for the future. Sea level rise is another major challenge. As the highest points of a mostly submerged continent, New Zealand's coastlines are particularly vulnerable. The future of its low-lying coastal communities and unique coastal ecosystems depends on how we address global climate change. But the future of New Zealand isn't just about geological forces and environmental challenges. It's also about its people. The nation continues to evolve, shaped by its bicultural foundation between Maori and Pika, New Zealanders of European descent, and increasingly, by a multicultural society that welcomes people from all over the world. The journey to honor the Treaty of Waitangi, the nation's founding document, and to build a truly equitable society is a central part of New Zealand's modern story. From the sunken depths of a lost continent to the vibrant, dynamic nation we see today, New Zealand's story is one of incredible resilience, beauty, and constant transformation. It's a land that wears its geological heart on its sleeve. A place where you can feel the power of the earth. It reminds us that what we see on the surface is often just a small part of a much deeper, more complex story. The next time you look at a map, don't just see two small islands in the South Pacific. See the mountain peaks of Zealandia, a hidden continent, a land of fire and ice, a home to unique creatures, and a nation forging its future on the edge of the world. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey to the sunken continent of Zealandia. If you found this as fascinating as I do, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss our next adventure. See you in the next video.